Shalom. Before I begin this video, first and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that continually rule very well to this very day. Let's continually feeding the flock through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and also Shalom to the hopefully elect. Let's continually planning His work, giving diligence to make your calling and election sure, in faith, true sincerity, and also non-charity. Now, topic of this video is going to be centered around Wisdom of Solomon, the second chapter, in which, I was meditating today, earlier, concerning this current situation that's going down with this current government, which is the government shutdown. These people have lived for so long in pleasure, did what they thought in their hearts to do without any repercussions. And the sentiment that they all shared was that you only have one life to live, in which that's not true. All right, because the Lord has kept record of the things that we do in the body, and the scriptures speak about that, about how everyone will receive the judgment as is meet for them or worthy for them to receive because of the things that they did while they was in the body, which that stands today. So how are they going to receive the judgment, doing the things while they was in the body? How are they going to receive the judgment that's supposed to come after the destruction of Babylon the Great, which is America, according to the Bible? And another thing that these people believe in is that there's such a thing as a place underground where Satan is, and he has a pitchfork, a goatee, in a red jumpsuit, and he's poking you with it down in the fiery pits of the earth, in which that's not true. All right, they believe in the hell doctrine. All right, in which the scriptures itself cuts that doctrine concerning hell, man. The same book that these Christians read every Sunday. They believe that it's an actual place called hell, in which the word in the scriptures, the word hell, only means the grave or the pit. All right, it's not a place where you continually burn forever, because one scripture that cuts that out of other scriptures is that death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. So how can you cast death and hell? How can you cast hell into hell? Isn't hell supposed to be the lake of fire? So how are you casting hell into a lake of fire? It's not possible. So again, that's why we always check these wacky Christians on that topic. All right. So the only way to receive that these people are going to receive judgment is what? It's going to be in the body, but it's going to be in the next life. All right. Because the Lord is allowing them to do whatever it is in their hearts to do, and then He's going to judge them. All right. And people will look at that and say, well, why is He allowing these, the people here on the planet Earth to commit atrocities, commit wickedness? Well, it's for the sake of His word. All right, because there's certain prophecies in the scripture that needs to be fulfilled, and there's certain seats and positions that's going to be fulfilled, or is going to be filled up and taken in that day after the destruction. All right, because that's why the elect is spoken about in the Bible, because the elect is going to assert their position in their seats, and the rest of the people that are outside of that circle are going to assert their seats. All right. Everyone has a position that they're going to be placed in, whether it's good or whether it's bad. Scriptures also speak about that. But I'm going to go ahead and jump into Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter. I don't want to go too far off on a tangent. But this is Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter. Start at the first verse. It says, "For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright, our life is short and tedious." See? And that's what the people believe, is that their life is short. They only have so long to live, and, might as well live it to the fullest. And it's going to explain it further in the scripture. All right. This is what we best know as the YOLO scripture. All right. If you know that term YOLO is the modern day term, which is used for you only live once, which once again, that's not true, because you come back every 3rd to 4th generation. The Bible also tells you that you come back every 3rd or 4th generation back in the body. And during that time, you play out your life once again. All right. So again, it says, "For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright, our life is short and tedious. And in the death of a man, there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave," right? Because they believe that once you die, that's it. That's it. You lived out your life, and that's all she wrote, so to speak. That's pretty much it. You're never going to come back in the body. And that's what the ungodly say within themselves, reasoning within themselves, but not aright. Why? Because they don't have the knowledge of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. If they did, they would have known that, well, you come back every 3rd to 4th generation. And then they would get themselves together, see? So if they would understand that, then it wouldn't be any reason for them to say, well, we're going to come back in the next life. We might as well just get ourselves together and, get our minds right, so we won't have to face any sort of judgment. But see, the Lord has taken that wisdom away from our people specifically, to know that you come back in another body. If they did, then they would have got themselves together a long time ago. But the Lord specifically took that knowledge away from them, so that they can fill that seat which I spoke about earlier, which is the seat of being a 2/3. All right. Now, verse 2, it says, "For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as a smoke, and a little spark in the moving of our heart." Right? You're here one day and you're gone tomorrow. That's what they say within themselves. All right. This is verse 3. It says, "Which being extinguished, our body shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as the soft air. And our name shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance. And our life shall pass away as a trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun and overcome with the heat thereof." All right. So once again, going back to, it's basically explaining that, the wicked think within themselves, well, you're here for one moment and then you're gone the next. So that's why they bring on the idea of living life to the fullest. That's why you see Jake in a messed up state that they are right now, and doing all sorts of outlandish, I don't know what a good way to put it, man. They're just doing all kinds of foolishness, man. Performing all kinds of foolishness, And that's what Jake is on right now, man. All right. So the only remedy for them really is death, right? Like it says right here. Like it says that they're born of all adventure, and the remedy, there's no remedy for when it comes to death, because that is their remedy. All right. Verse 5 says, "For our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and after our end there is no returning." Right, because they don't believe they're going to come back in another body, come back in the next life, in which they are, right? Because the scripture has to be fulfilled where it speaks about all Israel shall be saved. So the elect is going to make it on the first trip out of this coming destruction that's going to come upon us, the land of America. And 2/3 of our people, which consists primarily of the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they're going to die on this side. All right. So, this is like, let me read it again. It says, for our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and after our end there is no returning. For it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh again. Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present. See, so now, since they have it in their mind to that, in which, really is going to Esau, the so-called white man, which Esau is a true biblical nationality, or Edom, but it's also extended onto 2/3 of our people, because they have the same mindset. All right, they adopted it from Esau. All right. When I say they adopted this idea, in other words, they adopted this vibration of just acting a fool and thinking that you're not going to get paid any sort of repercussions for it, because you think that this is the only life that you're going to live. All right, I'm talking about the 2/3. So it says, come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth. Right, because that's why you see a whole bunch of sodomitish, for lack of a better term, a lot of sodomite activities going on in our nation, a lot of adultery going on in our nation, and the list goes on, man. All right. So it says, let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth. It says, let us fill ourselves with costly wine. And that's why you see Jake consistently in the bar, consistently drinking is excess of alcohol, man. All right. And ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass by us. Right. Because these Jakes are wild, man. Especially in this time right now, man, 2019, they don't have anything else to lose, man. Throughout this government shutdown, Esau already taken away the SNAP benefits and food stamps away from them, so they really don't have anything to lose at this point, man. All right, so now it's the point in time where Jake, they're gonna start losing it even more, start losing their minds, and it's gonna come to the point where it's gonna end up being a race war happening, man. Why? Because they're gonna turn from their own people, right, and go after these rich Edomites. Okay. Now, it says at verse 8, it says, let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. It says, verse 9, it says, let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place, for this is our portion and our lot, and is this. All right. Now, before I read on, I want to grab one quick precept. This is James, the 4th chapter, and I'm going to start at the 13th verse. It says, go to now, ye that say today or tomorrow we will go into such a city and continue there a year, and buy and sell and get gain. Right, because Jake is in it for the long haul, man. Us own people are just here just to stay here. They're not looking towards escaping out of America. They're not looking towards leaving under the oppression, or leaving from under the oppression of the so-called white man. They want to actually stay in oppression. All right. Let me get that scripture. It's like you. Oh, it's like it. Yeah, spelled it wrong. All right, it's the book of Isaiah, the 30th chapter, in the 12th verse. It says, wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise his word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall. See, that's exactly what's been happening. That breach has been cracking every single day since the government shut down. All right, and that breach eventually is going to fall through, which I'm going to read on, right? It says, swelling out in a high wall whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant, right? Because it's going to be an instant crash that's going to come in the land of America. All right. Now let me go back. This is verse verse 14 says, whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow, right? Because everything can fall through in the morning, right? Or in midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning. All right. So it says, for what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanisheth away. For that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that. Right. And that's why we consistently say Lord's will on our side. All right. Because we don't know what's going to happen. The market could crash the next day. Martial law can be declared right during this time right now, or at 12 o'clock at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. So once again, it says, for that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that. But now you rejoice in your boastings. All such rejoicing is evil. See? Because they boast in that, well, I'm going to get this and that in I got long-term goals, and I want to set this for myself. I want to have a big house and with 2 garages and, this and that and blase, whoop de whoop. Yeah, this is the kind of thinking that gets Jake killed, man. All right. And that's exactly what's going to happen. They're not looking towards the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai for him to deliver us. They want to stay here in America because, once again, like I read earlier in Isaiah, they trust in oppression. Okay. Verse 17, it says, therefore, to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. All right. Now I'm going to jump back to Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, and this is at verse 10. It says, let us oppress the poor righteous man, let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age, right? Because we're the poor righteous men. All right. So they think it's okay to oppress us on this side and to defame us and demean us, thinking that it's okay, not knowing that they're dealing with the same power that they claim to worship and revere. These are the men that he set up. These are the men that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai set up, and they don't realize that. And they're going to be held accountable for that. All right. Verse 11 says, let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing. It's like if for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. It says, therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. See, because we are clean contrary to their doings, man. There's a clear separation between us and them. They won't think the same things that they think of. All right, we don't operate in the same manner that they do. All right, we're clean contrary, and by the way, a key word there is clean. All right, because the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is making us clean through His word. All right, you see, He upbraideth us with our offending the law, right? And that's what we do. We do that because we do that out of love, man. All right, to curse 2/3 of our people out for the things that they do, that's showing love, man. Like I mentioned before, and we always said this society has a convoluted and distorted definition of what love really is. All right. It says, and objective to our infamy, the transgressings of our education. All right. He professed to have the knowledge of the Most High, and he called himself the child of the Lord, right? Because we are children of the Lord. We're the sons of the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. We boldly proclaim that, man. Lord's will, we are a part of that hopefully elect number. That we can say. All right. It says he was made to reprove our thoughts, right? The reason why we was put here on earth was to reprove the thoughts of our people. All right. Same thing he did with Moses. Same thing he did with the apostles. And the same thing he's doing with us today, the men of the Lord that you see out on the highways and byways right now. All right, verse 15, it says, he is grievous unto us even to behold, for his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion. Right. Our ways are the fashion of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. All right. So let me grab one precept. All right, it's Romans the 8th chapter and the 29th verse says, for whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his son, right? Because we're fashioned in the image of his son, which is Yahweh Shai. Read on says that he might be the firstborn among many brethren, right? That's why the first fruits on the next side is going to be the election. All right. It says, we are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstained from our ways as from filthiness, right? Because their ways are filthiness, man. They're dirty. Like we read earlier, our ways are clean, contrary to their ways. All right. So their ways, the ways that they follow, are filthiness, man. We stay away from that. We stay away from the muck and the mire that they're in. All right. So he pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that the Most High is his Father. All right, it says, let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him, right? Because that's why Jake come up to the camps thinking that they know something and think they can confound what we're saying by coming up with their off doctrine and thinking that they can trap us in our words, which, by the way, these aren't our words. These are the words of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. All right. But, yeah, let me go ahead and finish this precept off. This is, verse 18. Yeah, because when they walk up to the camps, they really try us, man, to see what we're going to do. But the Lord sees them, man. All right. And of course, he's going to judge them accordingly. Verse 18 says, for if the just man be the son of the Most High, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Right. And in other words, let's go over there, and so we'll know his meekness and test his patience. All right. This is what goes on in the mind of Edomites, especially these young Edomites, and also 2/3 of our people. All right. It says, let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own saying he shall be respected. Such things they did imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness hath blinded them. Right. Because they're blinded by their own wickedness. All right. And because of that, they think that they're going to triumph over us by doing that, in which the Lord is going to put them all to flight. All right. So this is verse 22. It says, as for the mysteries of the Most High, they knew them not, neither hope they for the wages of righteousness. Right. Because the wages of righteousness is life, man. And this is what we're expecting from doing his work. All right. Because the wage, like it says right here, the wages of righteousness, right? For the wages of righteousness is life, like I mentioned before. Because what are the wages for sin? Death. The wages of wickedness is death, man. All right. So that's what we hope for. It says, now read on, it says, nor discern a reward for blameless souls. For the Most High created man to be immortal and made him to be an image of his own eternity. Right, because the way Yahweh shall receive his glory, we're going to receive that same honor and that glory, right, under the shadow of Yahweh Shai. Because we're going to be joint heirs with Yahweh Shai. Once again, Lord's will, we're a part of that hopefully elect number. All right. Verse 24 says, nevertheless, through envy of the devil, which that word devil right there means deceiver. All right. Came death into the world, and they that do hold of his side do find it. Right. Because they hold on the side of Esau, man. Because Esau is the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right. So that's why I read that scripture earlier in Isaiah, right, that they trusted in oppression, because they really trust in Esau, who is the one who's oppressing them. All right. So since they hold on his side, they're going to find death. All right. Because that same man that they trusted in is going to stab him in the back, like he always done. All right. So with that, I want to end off this lesson. And Lord's will, this was edifying to the body of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, the members of the Holy Elect. Until next time, once again, I want to give all